All right, guys, welcome back to Fox 5 Live Zone. In a world where voices are rising, one woman stands out as a beacon of inspiration, a true icon, transforming stories into empowerment. You see, my next guest is the fifth generation president and CEO of McKissick & McKissick, the nation's oldest black-owned, woman-led professional design and construction firm. I'm referring to none other than Cheryl McKissick Daniel. She just recently became an author. The book, entitled The Black Family Who Built America. It offers a powerful and deeply personal narrative that spans more than 230 years of Black American history, from enslavement to Jim Crow to corporate boardrooms and billion-dollar infrastructure projects. But don't let me tell it. She joins us right now on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Miss McKissick Daniel, good to see you and welcome to the show.
How are you? Nice to see you as well.
I got to tell you, I am so excited about what you have done. First and foremost, congratulations. Thank you for being an icon. And, well, dear God, now you're an author as well. Do tell, how did all of this come to be?
Well, first of all, we come from a long legacy of builders dating back to 1790. So that story is one that I have heard since I was a little girl. And then I was able to get my hands on a family tree that sparked even more questions about our history. And so I took the family tree and drafted it on my father's drafting table when I was around 12 and began to fill it out even more. And over the years was able to gather more information. And so I felt like, this was a story that needed to get out. The McKissicks, as you just said, they serve as a mirror and a beacon, a mirror that reflects the struggle of Black professionals in America, as well as a beacon because it shows what happens when perseverance can meet purpose.
Yeah, and your family has been so instrumental with regard to building and the construction of so many things. I mean, I can go on and on. Let's see, building the Tuskegee Airfield, locally, Howard University's Founders Library, and some of the nation's most iconic hospitals, churches, schools, hotels. I told you I could go on and on.
Yes. Well, in reality, this story is not just about McKissick's, but it's about Black Americans who are often the hidden figures who are not recognized and have been erased from history, and that who have contributed to buildings all across this nation. And so, our tagline is proudly "Who built this?" We want to bring recognition to people that possibly somebody of African descent built it.
Yeah. And that's the story yet again that needs to be told, and you all are doing an amazing job of doing just that. How were you able to compile the information, the stories that we'll get a chance to hear and read, if you will, once we feast our eyes on this amazing book?
Well, these stories come from my father, my mother. There was a dissertation done at Fisk University about the McKissicks. And then Nick Childs, my co-author, was able to do a lot of research and come up with even more information. In this book, we sort of make a case of how the McKissicks were able to have a business and maintain a business all these years. I mean, the chances of a business passing from one generation to the second generation is 40%. And then to the third generation, it's 18%.
Wow.
And then to a fourth generation, it's 3%. And here we are, fifth generation in America, who we've gone through slavery, Jim Crow, systemic racism, you name it, in the Deep South. And so Nick and I tried to understand just how did that happen?
Yeah. And, well, not necessarily only how, but you all did it and did it in a major way. I mean, you are the proof that it can happen. And I absolutely love that.
Yes, we are the blueprint.
But can you elaborate perhaps the biggest challenge? And you just touched on that, which leads me to a point that I think so many folks want to know, and that is what happened to be that biggest challenge that you all faced as an African American family within the construction business?
Well, I mean, there have been several. The first descendant of our family, Moses McKissick the first, was a brick brick maker. But his son, Moses McKissick II, was a master carpenter. And he really was the first McKissick to incorporate right after emancipation. So, I mean, you can only imagine what that was like in Pulaski, Tennessee, where the Ku Klux Klan started. Um, he had a business. And so the challenge for him was when the movie Birth of a Nation came out.
Mm.
And so we were in a period of time where there were white people who were very interested in embracing black people, but this book scolded them. I mean, this movie scolded them and told them that's not a good idea. And then we also had people who just wanted to kill us because of black success at that time.
Wow.
Uh, it, why are these black people doing well and I am not? Sort of what we're experiencing right now.
I'll wrap up with this, and this is the question that I pose to all authors. And so if you watch this show, you already know what I'm about to say, and that is, what happens to be your favorite chapter out of the book, and why?
My favorite chapter is financial clearance. Because it's a classic example of how to eliminate black firms in business. And it's all around, it's about moving the goalpost and changing the requirements to win projects. And, I went through that after winning a project fair and square against my peers, or competing against my peers. McKissick won out. And so then now the requirements changed.
Wow. I cannot wait to get my hands on your book. Yet again, it's entitled The Black Family Who Built America. You see it right there on your screen. The author, Cheryl McKissick Daniel, yet again, needs no introduction. Fifth generation president and CEO of McKissick & Kissick, and kind enough to join us right here on the Live Zone. Congratulations, continued success to you, and yet again, you are the blueprint.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, folks, we'll take a quick break. Hey, on the flip side of that break, we'll get the top headlines coming up next, right here on the Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. It is now the top of the hour. Yes, 1 o'clock right here on the LZ. Joined now with our brand new Fox 5 family member, Saida Abbas, streaming host and reporter right here on the Live Zone. Good to see you.
Oh my God, good to see you, Guy. Thank you for having me. I love the show, and I'm so excited to be on.
Oh, wow. You're going to be back, just like that.
Yeah.
That's called flattery. I'll
Exactly.
take it. All right, obviously we are covering a plethora of stories and a lot going on. Obviously, if you haven't already done so, we would encourage you to log onto our website, fox5dc.com. This first story, Saida, really troubling out of UDC.
Yeah, it makes me really sad, and it's really shedding a light on safety on campuses. A female was attacked early in the morning. Now, she was a basketball player, and she was going to, just out about her day. All of a sudden, this is terrifying. A man comes up behind her, chokes her, and not only just that, he steals her phone. Now, this was so emotional. You could just see her state there. She was injured, and she was saying that this week was supposed to be her birthday was coming up, and now all of this happened during a time where she was supposed to be so happy. And especially as a woman, you think about this, and you're like, you think about your own safety walking at places, and there needs to be, she was saying, she was calling for more security on campus. So something like this doesn't happen to anyone else, right? You don't want this to happen to your sister, your mother, somebody that you love. This is scary.
Yeah, very much so. By the way, this happens to be, we had an exclusive interview with her right here on Fox 5, and I actually listened to it and watched it, and to hear what she had to say, in essence, she stated that, you know what, this happened, but God has my back. To think that you just experienced that trauma, and yet you were somewhat positive and ready to move forward.
Yeah, that's called faith over fear, and that's what all of us need, especially in a time like this, and a situation like this. I mean, I have to give it up to her. She was so brave. She even fought back, when he grabbed her, and she was a fighter in that situation.
Yeah, well, obviously, we will continue to follow the latest on that developing story off the campus of UDC. The next story is somewhat interesting to me. Whenever I hear about a closure, it makes me do a double take. In this case, we're talking about 17th Street.
Yeah, you got to pump your brakes. If you're heading downtown, we got to tell you this, plan ahead, especially if you have a doctor's appointment, any kind of appointment, you don't want to run late. Now, they do this annually every year because they want to make sure everything is working properly for you when you're on the roadway there in case there's a high water event. So the closure, we want to let you know, is until 2 p.m. this afternoon. Plan ahead.
Okay.
Again, it's until 2 p.m., so you got to pump the brake a little bit if you were planning on going to 17th Street between Constitution and Independence.
Yeah, well, you know what, yes, it's a hassle, but it's needed in something that, well, you might as well get it done now so that we don't have to do it later.
Yeah, it's all to make our lives easier, right?
Yeah, that's what they say until we get caught up in traffic.
That's one way to look at it.
Go figure. Yet again, more information on our website, fox5dc.com. You and I, today, when we arrived here at Fox 5, one of the top stories as we took a look up at the screen, in all screens, including right here at Fox, we saw this horrific incident that took place in Dallas, Texas, at an ICE facility in which, well, now 2 people are dead, including a gunman and a detainee. Do tell.
Yeah, apparently this happened early this morning. Now, police have not released a motive yet, but it's shaking up a lot of people, Guy, this morning. This is not something that you want to hear. We saw the press conference as well, and the biggest message I got from it is to exercise restraint. Again, the guy was on a rooftop, the suspect, and get this, the agents we heard approached him. These details coming out from our sister station in Dallas, agents approached him and he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Again, no one wants to hear this. People are just waking up to this morning, and now this afternoon still catching up with what happened, what the motive was, you know?
As you stated, we are learning new details, including messages that happen to be written on some of the shell casings left behind, obviously alluding to the fact that he was targeting or hoped to target ICE officials. Just a tragic story. I mean, we have had a plethora of shootings throughout this nation over the last several months, and hopefully it will come to an end.
Yeah, something needs to change. I mean, again, 3 ICE detainees were shot, 2 have died, and it's just very shocking, especially for everyone across the country. But again, in Dallas, just praying for everybody out there, you know?
All right. Yet again, for more information, you can log on to our website, fox5dc.com. Saida Abbas, did I get the name right?
Yes, you did.
High five going out to me, joining us right here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. We're going to take a quick break. On the flip side of that break, Maryland Senator Nick Charles joins us next, right here on the Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. So if you haven't heard, let me be the first to tell you. The Congressional Black Caucus Week is upon us. It's happening right now, and well, lo and behold, this is happening today. Yes, the Single Mingle Congressional Black Caucus Mixer. Well, we're going to have a number of guests actually appearing, one of which who happens to join us right now. We're referring to Maryland State Senator Nick Charles back here on the Live Zone. Senator, good to see you, my friend, and welcome back to the show.
Guy, how's everything?
I am
It was
doing
good
just
seeing you
fine.
last night.
Yeah, I got a chance to see you as Prince George's County Executive Aisha Braveboy and Maryland Governor Wes Moore celebrated all things with regard to the Congressional Black Caucus. You, sir, were definitely in the house. Always good to see you.
Always.
All right, so let's talk about what's taking place today. This is the, it's somewhat of a mixer, and it features none other than you. Do tell.
Yeah, so, a lot of times, when folks think about the Black Caucus weekend and think about a lot of parties, and the reality is we are faced with so many troubling times, and we really need to hear, I think the community needs to hear from its elected officials, not just in Maryland, but across the board. And so when you have an opportunity like this to get friends like my good friend from Virginia, Senator LaSharice Aird, you're able to get my good friend from Maryland, Senator Alonzo Washington, my good friend from DC at large, Council Member Robert White. Then you got Jock Patterson from the school board. And then you even have Oye, who's a U.S. representative. Also, you got folks from DC, Maryland, and Virginia coming together to talk about a lot of the struggles and the things that's taking place within our communities, and hear also from folks all across the area that are coming and convening in the city. And so this is a great opportunity, and I'd like to thank Rochelle Renee for pulling this together. This is the second year she's done this through her organization, Single Mingle, which is a group of over 60,000 folks across the Washington metro area. And she pulls all these folks together for different events, but this one right here sticks out to me the most because it allows for everyone to come together to hear from their elected officials. And this one is more special because you now have folks from DC, Maryland, and Virginia coming together so we can have real panel discussions on how we as a community, a metro area, are working to be the best folks that we can for our constituents. So it's from 5 to 9 today at Lima Lounge in DC. And if you want to hear from your elected officials, from some of your folks from Maryland, some folks from Virginia and DC, I think this is the best place for you to be. Because you're going to have the folks there and you'll have the ear of your elected officials right there in the midst of CBC.
Senator
so I'm
Charles,
hoping to see you there too, Guy.
I will try. I just made mention that I will try. That's the best I can do. But I do want to say this, and that is folks that are visiting from out of town, they will soon realize that we are rather unique, if you will. I mean, obviously, D.C. is central. You have Maryland right above that, or next to it, however you want to put it, and Virginia beneath it. You don't see, let's say, a number of elected officials from different regions coming together, but you all are doing just that. Why? Because, as you stated, there happens to be certain issues that, well, all regions are facing. And I'm hoping you can elaborate on what are some of the issues that, well, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are facing.
Yeah, so we're dealing with a huge piece of our community, our federal employees, and we've had so many federal layoffs, and that has impacted our communities drastically. And it's not just happening in Prince George's County; it's happening in Montgomery County, Charles County. It's happening in Virginia. It's happening in D.C. And then, as you saw recently with the surge of the president bringing the National Guard into D.C. and making threats of bringing the National Guard into Maryland. These are real conversations, but when elected officials across borders are able to come together and strategize and talk about ways to protect our community and make our community safe, but also figure out how can we collaborate to make sure opportunities are available, because so many people are losing their jobs.
Yeah.
What is working in Virginia that we should be doing in Maryland? What's working in Maryland that we should be doing in DC? And when you have a brain trust of individuals able to come together, I think it's beneficial to all of our communities across DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
Senator Charles, it is no secret you have been a champion for the people and of the people. And with that, you are always working on something for the people. As I have about a minute left, I'm hoping you can perhaps share with us what's on the agenda. What are you working on, and what do you hope to get across and/or finalize in the near future?
Oh man, it's so much, and with only a minute, I'll give you one project that Senator Alonzo Washington and I are dealing with. With both of us being girl dads, one of the things we realized, and that we have to spread and make as much noise as possible. So we're working to grab a lot of dads across the county and bring folks together to talk about how we can be better protectors for our families, how we can make sure that our daughters are well protected as we move forward through this society. It's unfortunate to see so many young black girls coming up missing, and nothing is being done about these things. We just had recently some young, beautiful black girls being taken away way too soon. And as fathers, it's very concerning. And so he and I came together, and we're pulling together an event, and we're looking to collaborate and partner with fathers across the county to talk about how we can be protective of our children, protective of our daughters, and put them in the best positions possible. But that's just something that we're working on within the next month to have a program roll out with that.
Something I guarantee, if it's pertaining to you, it will be quite successful. Speaking of success, what's going to take place tonight will be a success as well. Yes, we're talking about the Single Mingle Congressional Black Caucus Mixer. It's somewhat of a tongue twister, but I actually like it, Senator Charles. If you haven't already done so, make sure you put it on your calendar, not now, but right now, and get a chance to say hi to Senator Charles. Truly appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Right now.
Okay, guys, we'll take a quick break. Hey, on the flip side of that break, Poet Taylor is back. A little celebrity dish coming up next, right here on the Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. You ever hear of the game Find Wando or Waldo or whatever that is? Well, in this case, we're going to play the one called Find Poet. Because Poet Taylor from WPGC Midday Shenanigans now joins us for a little celebrity dish. And Poet, the viewers want to know, where in the heck are you?
So I am at the official community day with the Congressional Black Caucus, State of the People, Angela Rye, at Sycamore and Oak, where it's all these beautiful Black-owned businesses. There was a sneaker giveaway. There's a resource center. We have a legal center here, and we're going until like 2:30, so it's still time for you to pull up absolutely free because, the Congressional Black Caucus, the ALC, as Senator Nick just told you, is more than parties, y'all. Whole bunch of purpose out in these streets. Let's go get it.
And that's something you do oh so well. Speaking of getting it, let's get a little celebrity dish, shall we? In this case, we're going to kick it off with A$AP Rocky and Rihanna always have love on the brain. But as whether or not they are actually married, well, we still don't know. Apparently, ASAP Rocky is playing coy. You know, the two are now expecting their third child, and when asked if they happen to be married, he's like, well, maybe we are and maybe we're not. I didn't even know this happened to be an issue, Poet. What say you?
Listen, I love the way he politely said, mind the business that pays you. I think that ASAP and Rihanna have learned that we do not want everybody in our business, because look what happens when we invite everybody to the cookout. So I believe that they are married. They've been dropping and accidentally saying husband and wife too many times for me. But until I see a marriage certificate, Guy, I'm with you. I'm just watching.
Yeah.
And once again, saying, God, I've seen what you've done for others. I like billionaire status, a beautiful husband, and some bouncing babies. I mean...
Hey, Poet, I'm going to be honest with you. All I want is an album, and I'll just take that. I don't think I'm alone.
If she drops something, it's going to be like a lullaby album. It's going to be something for the kiddos.
Yeah.
I guarantee it, because what she's dropped thus far ain't for us. She is somewhere else, and I believe the album that we're waiting for will not be the album that we get. So rather being disappointed with that, I'll just say keep being Fenty. Keep me such she in that love is possible for us busy women and us boss women out here, and let's keep going and growing. But an album, we ain't getting that. She said no.
All right. Well, speaking of albums, Katy Perry is reflecting on the highs and lows she's experienced since releasing her album 143. In a recent social media post, the singer revealed that she's been tested and tried this year. She went on to say that while she and her fans have been through a roller coaster, she's proud of how her community has stuck together through it all. The release of 143 in 2024 was, well, let's just say it was shrouded in controversy, as many critics took issue with the music producer's involvement in the album, given the accusations of sexual violence against him. What say you about all of this, Poet?
Well, she explained in a podcast interview that it takes a while to put out a project, and a lot of times we don't give artists grace. By the time she found out that producers were into things and being accused of things, she tried to shelve it and pull it, and I don't think we gave her grace for that. I think if you get in bed with somebody that you know is up to no good, then, you know, that's on you. But I feel like a lot of times we hold celebrities to a kind of an accord and account that we wouldn't even hold our cousins and our siblings to, and that is where the problem lies. But I'm happy that she didn't let herself get dragged out, that she didn't let that defeat her, that she bounced back, created space for people who might be going through the same things as people that are accusing that producer of doing, and standing 10 toes down in the fact that she's beautiful, not perfect. And that's something that I think that we all could learn.
All right, we'll end with this. In this case, we're talking about Baywatch. Did you ever watch that show back in the day, Poet?
I don't think I was young or old enough to watch that back in the day.
What? Oh, come on. You see David Hasselhoff right there. Come on. Baywatch fans, the show will soon be bouncing back onto our TV screens. Fox Entertainment revealed yesterday that a reboot of the iconic series now in the works. So this has me all smiles, Poet. According to the press release, the new show will debut with a 12-episode season featuring a hot new cast. This comes 36 years after the original premiered back in 1989. That shows you how old I am, the mere fact that I remember this.
So I do remember the reboot that they did before this one. I just want to know, can I vote on the fellas that's going to be on the show? 'Cause they always get it right with the ladies. It'd be some missing melanated magic for me. So if Sophie Faribault about to be a lifeguard, I'm watching. If we can get Idris Elba to pull up, I'm watching. If, you know, Tiana Taylor want to share her man, we watching. That's what I wanted. Show me the men's. Hi, cousin. Show me the men.
Well,
the women always gonna be taken care of. But I'm excited.
Either way, I'm definitely watching. I'm a big fan. Hey, real quick before I let you go, you are working on a number of things, Poet. What do you have coming up?
It is the Congressional Black Caucus. Hi, cousin. Thank you. It's already CBC week, and I once again stand in the space that I always do. There will always be parties, but we never want to forget about the purpose. You know, this year's theme is made for this moment, and I feel like with everything that's going on, good, bad, ugly, and beautiful, it's not a better time for us to really utilize our power, for us to really be a part of policy, and for us to be a part of the progress, the change we've been deserved, not for those of us who are here, but I'm thinking of my nieces and my nieces' children and generations to come. So find me, and if you find me, I'm giving you tickets to the annual Day of Healing Prayer Breakfast, also sending you to the Black Party. We're going to the Phoenix Awards, and I'm hoping that we connect and do all the things necessary so that at the end of the day, we are all set up for success and where we want to be. And then, find me everywhere that Guy Lambert is doing good things.
Well, I was going to ask you for a ticket to all of those, so I'll have my people reach out to
Where
your
you
people
trying
after
to
the
go?
show. Good
I
stuff.
got tickets to the Amazon party. There's an LA party happening
Poet,
tonight.
I got to
Yeah,
run.
I got tickets.
I'm sure you do. Poet Taylor, Midday Shenanigans on WPGC, joining us for a little
I love you,
celebrity
Jimmy.
dish.
Thank you,
Hey, we're
guys.
going to take a quick break. On the flip side of that break, actor Trey Chaney joins us next, right here on the Live Zone. Oh my gosh, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. I absolutely love it when I get a chance to chit chat with my friends live on air on this show, and they happen to be big stars. In this case, he needs no introduction. You know him oh so well. You know what? We're going to have to just call you by your first name because that's the level he is on now.
Wow.
Forget Trey Chaney.
Thank you,
This
man.
is just Trey.
Yeah.
Just like Oprah. Just Trey.
Thank you,
Joining
man.
us right here
What's up,
on
brother?
the LZ. Good to see you,
Man,
man.
it's good to see you too, man. Yeah,
I just
man.
saw you, quite honestly.
I know. We had fun. Miguel Wilson,
Yeah.
man. The Polo Party, the
In
Soul
Atlanta.
Symphony, Atlanta. Yeah, man. And
Gotta-
we had a great time too, brother.
Yeah, I got a chance to see both you and your beautiful wife,
Yeah,
and
man,
I got
Aisha.
we sat
Yeah.
down, and it was really cool just to catch up with you. I have not
was,
seen
man.
you in quite some time.
I know, man, and I'm just happy to be in your presence right now, brother. Just with everything that we've been going through, but at the same time, man, God is amazing.
Yeah.
And like I was just telling you last week, I said, man, to look death in the eye and come out on the other side, and still, praise God for being able to live. The joy that I have sitting here right now, just the fact that we're living and breathing.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Well, let me set the stage for folks that don't know, and I don't know how that could actually be the case, but
Yeah.
I guess, 4 months ago?
4 months ago.
You and your son happened to be at home, and all of a sudden you're sitting on the bed, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the next thing you knew, you happened to be in the midst of a tornado.
Yeah, man. The EF2 tornado, 135-mile-per-hour winds that actually destroyed our entire home. Like you
I'm
said,
looking
man.
at the B-roll. Trey, this is just
Crazy.
unbelievable.
Yeah, man. Actually, just sitting on the edge of the bed, Malachi went in his room, May 29, 2025. He said, Dad, I'm going to go in my room, play the game. I sit on the edge of my bed. The wind didn't sound like the wind. The rain, it didn't sound like the rain. It was drizzling a little bit, but when it got to that point, it felt like it was a train beside me in my house. And next thing you know, my walls started flying towards my face, my TVs. What I remember is soon as everything, I was watching my house crumble, in front of me. My eyes were open. And I just remember levitating up in the air. And, the first thing we do, we brace up if something's coming at us. I'm in the whirlwind of a tornado. And then I know I must have been unconscious for maybe no less than maybe a minute. But when I wake up, I was wrapped in sheets because remember, I was sitting on the edge of the bed. When I pulled the sheets back, my roof was gone. It was in my neighbor's yard a mile away. And like the B-roll of the house right now, the most important part in the message that I've been sharing with everybody is the material things, it don't matter, brother. As long as we living and breathing, and this test that we just went through and passed becomes a testimony, that's my purpose. That's my mission now. I no longer have to chase. I don't got to chase money, fame, cars, clothes, none of that stuff. None of that stuff matters. It's those type of things that I just named. You can't worship stuff like that. As long as we living and breathing and we're able to cherish our loved ones and tell our loved ones how much we care about them, how much we're there for them, that's what matters the most. Because you never know what somebody's getting ready to go through. You never know what somebody's going through currently, you know. But like I said, man, surviving something like this and still coming out on top. And now Malachi is healing. Yeah. His ribs healed, you know. Every bone in his face that was fractured healed. The neck brace came off. Wow. And, you know, just setting things up with his school, Savannah State University, his sophomore year. They've been very supportive of him just by allowing us to have the accommodations that, you know, is required for him to have his own independence again. And 19 years old, man, like if you see him today, you wouldn't even be able to tell. And I'm bringing him back in October to see you. Yeah.
Well, first of all, brother, I am just so happy that you're
man.
Here and you can share this story, first of all. Two, that your son is okay.
Yeah, man.
You know, it's one thing for you to go through that, but to think as a father, that you had to watch what your son went through as well.
Yeah.
And then your wife.
Yeah, man. May 29th, it changed. It just gave me a whole different perspective on life. 118 days. And I'm in therapy now. I go to therapy 3 days a week just because my trauma is what they consider aggressive. So like you said, looking at my son's face rearranged and looking at whether he was going to make it or not, the doctors didn't know. You know, and then 118 days later, how the body heals. Wow. Man, it's mind-blowing. And that's why I said, you know, with me being in therapy now, it's almost like I'm still shocked that everything, it ended up working itself out. Yeah. You know, so now it's just one of those things, man, where I'm grateful and thankful just to be alive and to still continue to, you know, pursue my movie career, television, film, the iBody fragrance that I bought you. And yeah, man, I'm still happy just to be able to continue doing what I love and surviving a storm. Now we got to add tornado survivor to my resume.
Yeah, absolutely.
His tornado
and
survivor.
Motivational speaker.
Yeah.
Philanthropist and all the above.
Yeah, man.
Yet again, so happy you're here. So happy you're able to share that story
Thank you,
and continue to thrive. You did make mention of your
yeah.
amazing
yeah,
fragrance.
Man. Yeah, iBody. You know it's the best smelling unisex fragrance
so
in the world.
funny. You brought this the last time you were here, and I guess that's what, I don't know, 6-7 months ago or so. I'm down to, you know, you see this? I'm down about like this much left.
But that's your bottle. I bought
really?
that bottle for you.
Well, thank you.
You needed a refill.
I got it right here. But it is just so, everywhere I have sprayed this on, and then I would walk around, everyone always comments on it.
That's the good thing, man. It's the smell of love. It's the smell of passion, and it's for men and women. You know, so whoever sprays it on, you're going to get that look.
Yeah. Case in point, when we were in Atlanta, I had my mom with me, and I said, you know, it was funny because I said, "Mom, smell them."
And she said, "What is that?" And I got her bottle too. I got her bottle too, man. Yeah.
Well, most importantly, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you,
appreciate
brother.
you sharing your story.
Yeah, man.
And we appreciate that you will continue to shed the light as it should be shed.
Most definitely, brother. Thank you, Guy.
Trey Chaney,
my guy,
actor, tornado survivor, and so much more.
Joining
us right here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone, joined now with Chris, host of Do You Like It or Not? What's
That's
up, my man?
this one, where you can scan the QR code and be a co-host on the show. Looking forward to it tonight. One of the stories we're talking about tonight, I don't know whether I like this or not, to be honest with you, but there's an important reason why. We're talking about Hamburger Helper.
Hamburger.
And I helped. The ads are burned into my brain. The look, the smell, all of it is burned in my brain. But I have a confession.
Okay.
I've never once had it.
What?
I've never tried.
Oh, this is breaking news.
Now, if you're not familiar, Hamburger Helper, it is an economic way to make the most out of a pound of ground beef.
I like how you put that.
That's kind of like its thing. It is a budget-friendly option, but why we're talking about it is sales are way up. 15% this year alone, which experts say is not the best sign. It's kind of a sign of the economy taking a hit, people's wallets maybe a little lighter, and they need to make that dollar stretch a little further.
Yeah.
And so what do? We go back to the classics like Hamburger Helper. They're not the only ones seeing a rise in sales, though. Other budget-friendly food on the shelves, we're talking things like canned tuna, beans, and sardines. Strong sales as well.
Wow.
I know.
Full disclosure, Hamburger Helper, no. Sloppy Joe, heck yes.
Heck yeah.
Sardines, I'm all in.
Okay.
And tuna, I
interesting.
like tuna too.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a classic in my house. I used to get made fun of because there were times when my pockets my money wasn't going as far, and I was kind of living on my own, and I bought canned potatoes.
Really?
Yeah, that was something I grew up with. Canned potatoes and
different.
canned green beans. And let me just tell you, they do not taste the same.
Yeah.
But I grew up, I was not a fan of ground beef growing up. And so this was a staple in my house. I remember my brothers absolutely loving it, but I just refused to try it.
Yeah.
And now I probably would like it much more. So,
Okay.
it might make an appearance
You
in
didn't
my
make
house.
mention of Sloppy Joes. Did you like those?
I did. Well, I didn't like ground beef.
Okay. Wow.
Now that I've had them,
Okay.
I do.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
They are good. I mean, anything on a roll. It's a sandwich. It's meat-wich. All right. Let's go from food to drinks now, okay? Because Modelo just got dethroned as the best-selling beer in the United States. I would, if you had quizzed me on the street and said, name the best-selling beer in the United States, I would not have picked the new winner, but it is Michelob Ultra.
Wow.
Michelob Ultra. It was nipping at the heels of Modelo. Modelo, I was actually shocked, to be honest with you, that that was the best-selling beer.
Yeah.
Again, I probably would have guessed something in the Miller Lite or Budweiser, Coors Light, any one of those three. And yet, it had been Modelo for years, but just recently dethroned by Anheuser-Busch, which makes Michelob Ultra. Now, experts think there's a couple reasons why. One, it's got lower calories than most of your light beers, hence the title Ultra. You see the Olympic rings on that bottle, too.
Yeah.
That plays in key here because they have really made their sales pitch that this is the drink for people with an active lifestyle, which is why you see it so heavily promoted at sporting events.
Yeah.
We saw a major ad push during the Super Bowl with stars like Willem Dafoe, Catherine O'Hara, and if you've ever run a marathon, you know what they're handing out at the end, at the finish line. It's Mick Ultra, which maybe this is all the reasons why people are looking for lower calorie, they're looking for a more healthy lifestyle, and as a result, beer sales not quite what they used to be. But also interesting, Michelob Ultra has become what is the word? It has surpassed Bud Light in bar presence, they say, which means that when it comes to the taps at bars, more are serving Mick Ultra than
I
they
can
are
see
Bud
that.
Light.
It's really a good beer. I buy it from time to time. I think it's 95 calories a beer, but then there's Michelob Ultra Gold, which is 85 calories.
Oh, wow.
I'm counting calories. I got to fit in all these suits, but it's a great beer.
It's working for you. I honestly, it's never been my go-to. I know plenty of people for whom it has been. Maybe I'll give it a try as a result. I'm still just loyal to my High Life. Champagne of beers, baby.
Oh, gosh, Chris.
Champagne of beers. I know.
We got to hang out sometime. I got to introduce you to some new beers there, buddy.
Well, yeah, I know. Trust me, I've never really met one I don't like unless it's one of those sours or fruit beers. But I'll give it a shot.
All right, I'm sure all of this will be discussed and so much more tonight.
7:30, right here on Fox Local.
All right, producer Chris joining us right here on the Live Zone. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone, a story we have been following all day. A shooter opened fire on a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Dallas earlier today, killing 2 detainees and critically wounding a third. The gunman died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound and left behind ammunition with what officials described as anti-ICE language. A presser was held earlier, and here's what officials had to say.
All right. Let me start off by saying that I'm a person who believes very, very strongly in the power of prayer, and that prayer changes things. And so I'm going to ask everyone, please join me in praying for the families of the folks who lost their lives today. Pray for the speedy recovery for those who are hurt and were injured in what happened today. But maybe even more to the point, we're a country and a city that needs prayer. So I'm going to ask you all to join me also in praying for this city, that we can come together at a time like this, and that we can be there for one another the way we always have in times like this, to support one another, help us all get through this very difficult time, not just in our city, but in our country. And that's why I'd ask you to pray for our nation. There's a lot going on right now in our country. A lot of it's confusing. It's a scary time. I've got children. I've got 3 young children, and I'm here to tell you that it is challenging to explain to them what's going on in our country right now. But I said before, and I'll say it again, I believe in the power of prayer to change things, and it can change the hearts of people. It can change this country. It can change this city. So please pray for everyone who is affected by today's tragedy. I also want to say thank you to the Dallas Police Department, and say thank you to the Dallas Sheriff's Department, Dallas County Sheriff's Department, Texas Department of Public Safety, and all of our various federal law enforcement partners who acted so quickly today to make sure that today's tragedy wasn't worse than what it was. So on behalf of the city of Dallas, I want to say thank you to all of you. And you're going to hear from some of those folks later, but I want to let you know that we appreciate what you all do, not just today, but every day to help keep us all safe. And lastly, and this is really important, I would ask all of the city of Dallas residents who can hear me right now, let's be patient, let's remain calm, and let's let our law enforcement partners, our police department, do their job. This is an active investigation. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, and I want to encourage all of you to exercise a little bit of restraint and allow them to do their job to help make sure this continues to be a safe city and that they can help us figure out what happened here today. But with that, I want to say, again, thank you to all the folks who came out this morning from our law enforcement community. I'll turn it over to our police chief, Daniel Como, to speak a little bit more directly to the investigation itself. And with that, Chief Como, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Today at approximately 6:40 a.m., we received a assist the officer call. We responded to the call, got to the scene, and we later learned that we had 4 individuals that were shot, 2 of them deceased, including the shooter. The DPD quickly was able to locate the shooter who was deceased. We're going to be working this investigation shoulder to shoulder with our federal partners. The FBI is on scene, and right now I'm going to introduce you to the SAC of the Dallas Field Division, FBI Joe Rumrock.
Yeah, good morning. My name's Joe Rothrock. I'm the special agent in charge of the Dallas FBI Field Office. I want to first start by thanking our partners in local law enforcement, specifically the Dallas Police Department, for their quick and timely response. I can confirm at this time that the FBI is investigating this incident as an act of targeted violence. It is unfortunately just the most recent example we've seen of targeted violence, to include here in North Texas, where back on July 4th, we saw a coordinated attack carried out against an immigration detention center in Alvarado, Texas. What I can also share with you is that early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature. Again, this is just the most recent example of this type of attack. This will be a whole of government response. There will be no resource not utilized to bring all those individuals who are responsible to bring them to justice and to hold them accountable. While we're not releasing identities of any victims at this time, what I can confirm for you is no members of law enforcement were hurt during this attack. If any member of the public has information that would help the FBI's investigation, I would ask that you please report that to 1-800-CALL-FBI. Again, any piece of information will be helpful, but this will be an ongoing investigation between us, a number of federal partners, and our local partners, again, to ensure that anyone responsible is held accountable. With that, I will turn it over to my counterpart from the ICE Enforcement and Removal Office.
Good morning. My name is Joshua Johnson. I'm the acting field office director for ICE Dallas. I'll be brief with my comments, but I do want to start off by saying thank you to the Dallas Police Department, Dallas FBI, HSI, CBP, ATF, and virtually every law enforcement officer in North Texas for your support. This is the second time I've had to stand in front of you and talk about a shooter at one of my facilities, and I think that the takeaway from all of this is that the rhetoric has to stop. There are people out there who are seeing what is being placed online, and they're coming and they're doing acts of violence against ICE employees. So that's kind of all I have for today, is that it's just got to stop. It's dangerous, and people are losing their lives. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for coming. We really appreciate it. Again, thank you all so much. As it was said here today, if you do have any information, reach out to 1-800-CALL-FBI. Thank you. Thank you.
This needs to stop. Violence is wrong. Politically motivated violence is wrong. It was 2 weeks ago today that we saw a political assassination in Utah that tore the heart out of much of this country. This is the third shooting in Texas directed at ICE or CBP. This must stop. To every politician who is using rhetoric demonizing ICE and demonizing CBP, stop. To every politician demanding that ICE agents be doxxed and calling for people to go after their families, stop. This has very real consequences. Look, in America, we disagree, that's fine, that's the democratic process, but your political opponents are not Nazis. We need to learn to work together without demonizing each other, without attacking each other, and I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of law enforcement. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of ICE and CBP and everyone who puts their lives on the line to keep us safe. The divisive rhetoric tragically has real consequences. I hope that every one of us will pray, number one, for the safety of law enforcement that are risking their lives to keep us safe. Number two, for the health of those who were shot and injured today. We still don't know the full details of who was injured, but for the families also of the victims of this shooting. Violence has no place. It is wrong. And we should come together. If we want to have a debate about immigration policies, we can do so in the halls of Congress without demonizing each other, and especially without demonizing the men and women who every day put on a badge and go risk their lives to keep us safe. And we should not be putting language out there that inspires madmen to commit evil crimes. Our prayers are with the men and women of law enforcement, and we ought to come together and have some decency across the political aisle to say this violence is wrong and it needs to stop.
Senator, have you been told that immigrant detainees were the victims of today's shooting?
My understanding is the details of who the victims are still being ascertained, so I don't want to go ahead of law enforcement releasing these details. What they have said is that no law enforcement was injured, and so that's a natural inference, but I don't know the details.
Special Agent, can you talk a little bit about some of the evidence you mentioned earlier? Just for clarity, I think there's going to be a lot of questions. Our understanding is that some of the shell cases had specific writing that was relevant to the voting. Give us more information.
So I'm not going to go into any more details at this time. We will come back to you when we have more details to share. Again, our goal here will be transparency as those details become available, but we are still in the early stages of an investigation. Information is still coming in. When we have more details, we will come back to this group. I'm not going to be identifying victims at this time. The only thing I will confirm at this time is no law enforcement was injured. Certainly you can respect law enforcement's need to make notifications. At this point in time, we're not going to take any additional questions from law enforcement. Again, I'd ask for you to respect the fact that this is an ongoing investigation, and as more details come available...
We're not asking for the names of the victims.
I understand.
General sense if the victims are the detainees.
The only thing I can say right now is no law enforcement was injured this morning as part of the attack. I won't be taking any more questions, neither will law enforcement at this time. We'll come back to you later today or in the coming days when we have additional information. Thank you for your time.
Thank you a lot.
Yet again, a horrific incident taking place in Dallas, Texas. We'll continue to monitor this developing story throughout the afternoon right here on Fox 5. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. You're taking a live look in just a second at a Republican National Committee fundraiser in Lexington, North Carolina. That's where Vice President J.D. Vance is set to, well, actually speak in just a minute. The Lexington event is expected to raise some $2 million. By the way, Vice President J.D. Vance has kept up a steady clip of fundraising since becoming the RNC Finance Chair. This is his 10th event this year alone. Obviously, we'll continue to monitor that, as you can as well by visiting our YouTube page. And you see it right there on your TV screen, youtube.com/@Fox5DC. By the way, if you haven't already done so, make sure you download the Fox Local app. That way you can take us with you any and everywhere you go. Hey, we talked about it earlier. Producer Chris, do you like it or not? Tonight at 7:30, he has a number of topics sure to be intriguing and sure to really get your attention. By the way, the best part of that show, you too can be a host. All you have to simply do is click on the QR code yet again and take part. All right, guys, that just about does it for us. On behalf of my producer, Emmy, I'm Guy Lambert. The Take coming up next right here on Fox 5.